think we all know that nutrition plays a critical role in child development, both physically and mentally. The negative effects of poor nutrition on their overall health and development can lead to various physical and negative issues, such as stunted growth, weak immune systems, cognitive impairment, behavioral issues, etc., etc. In 1984, 40 years ago, a few members of St. Paul's got together and started an outreach program for San Miguel, 40 years ago. Today, more than 5,000 meals are served to school children every school day in 37 different various locations. We've invited Peter Bramley to come and talk with us today. He's a board member, a dedicated volunteer, and a good friend. So Peter, come on up. Come on up.
Well, I want to first tell you all that I really don't like public speaking. But there are two reasons that I'm here. Ron Lennox, my very good friend, invited me. And number two, it's for Feed the Hungry. And it's an organization that I'm passionate about. And I can start using this. When I came to San Miguel 5 years ago, I realized that I was going to give myself about a year to get myself acclimated, because it takes that long. We all know that. And then I wanted to volunteer. I wanted to do something with my life. I wanted to find structure and meaning. Well, the pandemic started, and that put things off for a while. But during the pandemic, I learned about Feed the Hungry, because they were feeding our community, the poor people who were hungry in our community. And we had a lot of help. We had communities. I think Guadalupe was helping, Ojo de Agua was helping, a number of different organizations and community members were helping. So, oh my goodness. I usually speak to a room like this without a microphone. So I started sending a monthly contribution to Feed the Hungry. And as soon as schools came back into session, I started volunteering as a food packer. Food packing happens on Mondays, and there's a group of people who, it's always fun to go there and help. It takes about an hour and a half. It's amazing how it works. And then after a while, my friend Mike asked me if I would start driving as well. So on Tuesday mornings, I would ordinarily be driving this morning, but I was coming here instead. I drive out to La Campana, which is a community on the other side of the Picachos. And it's about a 2-hour commitment, but it's the best 2 hours I spend all week. Just a great time. And then I was wrangled to become a board member, and it's a great way to contribute my time and my skills and some of the things I love to do. So my need for finding meaning and purpose became a passion. We feed kids in 37 different schools, and we feed more than 5,000 people every school day. There are under 5,000 students in these particular programs, but you'll see later on that we work with a number of other entities, and we deliver and promote food in those through those means. How do we get it done? Well, we have an incredible staff, and we have many volunteers. Our board is all volunteer. Food packing is all done through volunteers. Driving is all done through volunteers. We have a great staff of people, though, that work in the warehouse. We have a warehouse out in Cenegrite. Ceneguita. And it's a well-oiled machine. So Volunteers come and we pack dry goods earlier in the morning. Later on, a group of people come and pack produce. That's one of the things that I do. We have drivers. We have moms that work in kitchens as volunteers. And of course, our board of trustees are all volunteers. We have some paid employees, as organizations like ours do. It's become a very large organization, and so we have a controller who is very important to us, head of operations, warehouse employees. We paid cooks, some of the cooks in schools, and we have nutritionists. We have 5 nutritionists now. Their jobs are to go out and measure every child at least once a year, and that's how we gather our data. And it's also how we identify where we need to go next. So the municipality helps us. When we're beginning to search for a new school, we ask the municipality, where is the need greatest? And they're able to tell us where poverty levels are the highest. Then we send our nutritionists in, and we test out that premise, and they're usually right. They're usually right on the money. And then we're gathering more and more data, and we're striving for data-driven decision making, which is of course really important. It's been really. I was asked a question earlier at breakfast. What is one of our greatest issues that we're facing? And that is trying to match up individual children with data. It hasn't been possible, but we're now working on a tracking system that will allow us to do exactly that. We'll be able to follow a student's life through primary school. And I should say that we don't serve secondary school children. We serve kinders and primary school kids. We also have some other programs serving some other kids as well. We all know what happened in the year 2020. Schools all over the world closed down. And what were we going to do as an organization? We knew that the pandemic was going to drive poverty, and it surely did. And so we as an organization met and very quickly figured out what we needed to do. This is kind of a timeline. So, because I don't have it memorized, I'm going to turn around and I'll go through it. So on March 11th, the WHO declared that COVID-19 was a pandemic. By the 17th, schools in San Miguel closed. Between the 17th and the 24th, our operations team and our board of directors met, and we planned a response. By the 30th, we reconfigured our warehouse, procured essential supplies and food, and began packing. And that first day, we packed 500 bags of 30 pounds of food. But that's not where it ended. By the last day of the month, we had almost 1,800 food bags packed and delivered. Over the next 10 days, 5,500 bags of food, 30-pound bags of food. And so by the end of so we were working with 14 charities, and we were feeding 20,000 people. And that's 1 in 10 people in San Miguel. In San Miguel, we have about 180,000 people. 90,000 people live in what we think of as San Miguel, the city center, this beautiful part of town. But San Miguel is big. We're about 100 kilometers across, and half of our population lives in the campo, in the countryside. In July, the city government, who had been helping us with some packing had to pull their folks, so we brought some more folks in to help. By the end of the day, we had dispensed 687 tons of food. And we were also delivering workshops to families about how to prepare these foods, how to give their kids proper nutrition, even in this situation of dire need. In that year, our expenses doubled. We weren't feeding 5,000 kids anymore, we were feeding 20,000 people. So our expenses doubled, but so did our revenue, which was amazing. And thanks to all of you who helped. So we have other programs as well. We have an early childhood nutrition program, an extended alimentation program, family nutrition education, cooperative programs, that's where we work with other organizations, and we also have a clean water initiative. Hydration is a really big issue in San Miguel. Most of us who live here know that our water table has really fallen, and we're into the area of the water table that has heavy metals, specifically fluoride and arsenic. And so we are now delivering bottled water in the big garrafons to many schools in those areas that are hardest hit by those heavy metals. So the early childhood nutrition program, we started identifying families that had particular nutritional deficits. And it just didn't seem to make any sense to wait for a child to come to kindergarten in order to help them, in order to begin that process of stimulating their brain with nutrition. So we identified those families, and we are currently helping about 153 moms and 171 kids. And we're working hard to diagnose and monitor the results of these efforts. It's still pretty early. Since the program began in 2019, COVID interrupted a lot of our data acquisition, so we're currently working on that, but we know that there are kids who are doing better. They get dispenses, these families get dispenses twice a month. The extended alimentation program, as we were out in the communities more and more during the pandemic, we found that there were people that were falling through the cracks, elderly people particularly, who were really doing very poorly. And so we decided that the need was great enough. It was beyond our mission a bit, but we couldn't stand by and watch these people starve. So we have a number of these people who we send dispenses to, and it has changed their lives, and it's helping. And I think it's helping all of us. Family nutrition, education. So with the help of our chef, who I'll talk a little bit more about later, we deliver education to moms about nutrition. We help moms figure out how to create their traditional foods, but in a healthier way, and their food dollar is able to go farther, and other health issues like obesity is being addressed. Did I just do this one? Yes? Thank you. Cooperative programs. So these are all organizations that we work with. We don't necessarily take the credit, but which doesn't seem like a Rotarian thing. but even the School for the Deaf is one of our schools. So we work together on that one. So our organizational structure. we have an Asociación Civil, which is the Mexican. I think every organization in Mexico has an Organización Civil, a Asociación Civil, and we also have a U.S. Inc. So all of those contributions can be made tax-free. We also work with Amistad Canada, and through Amistad Canada, they can collect money from Canadian citizens. They have the tax-exempt status, and so people from Canada can also contribute and get that benefit. And all of our board members are volunteers, and it's great work. There we go. So, our service area, San Miguel, we're 160 square miles. Oh, no, not 160. We're 600 square miles. It's hard to believe, but we are. We all the way from Jalpa to Atotonilco. And this is the map. So these are all of our schools, and the white area is the area that we serve. La Campana is where I drive, and it is a beautiful drive. It's a really, really beautiful drive. I get out in the countryside. I pass horses. I pass goats. I pass donkeys, flowers, crops, and I'm a waver. I've turned into a waver. I wave at all the people as I go by, and I started doing that a little self-consciously, but I wanted them to recognize me. I wanted them to know that I was coming and why I was coming. And so I have a placard on the side of my car when I drive that tells people that I'm there with Feed the Hungry. And moms are starting to recognize me, and it's part of my good day. So we put together reports every year on every school that we work in. This happens to be the report for La Campana, the school that I drive for. It feels like it's my school. I've kind of adopted it. And I'm just going to blow up this little square. So in 2018, you can see that we had severe underweight of almost 25% of the kids. Today, it's less than 1%. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? We have some years of data that are missing because of the pandemic. One of the things that we recognized, though, which was really quixotic to us, was that kids came back to school and they didn't lose weight because we were feeding them, but we weren't feeding them from our kitchens. So we did some great work. But one of the other things that happens is that once we start feeding kids, the obesity rate goes up, the overweight goes up, but then over time, because of the programs that we have with nutritionists and teaching moms how to cook and how to deliver nutritious meals, that begins to come down. And so right now we have 0% obesity at that school. 2% are a bit overweight. There is a high risk for becoming overweight, but who am I to talk? So, there we go. So I want to talk about two people. Our chef, Valentin Patlin, and our nutritionist, Ana Laura. These were two of our students. These were two of our students that we fed. And they talk about comida de los gringos, food from the gringos. And at first, they started getting the food, and it was exactly what they were eating at home. It was beans and rice. But over time, we developed better menus, menus that were more interesting, more with more nutrition. And son of a gun, Valentin came to us. He didn't want to become a chef. He wanted to become an architect, but he couldn't afford the education. So he went to work at La Comer, and then from La Comer he went to a school here in San Miguel for a cooking school, and now he's become not only our chef, but he's also the co-director of operations. Ana Laura is a nutritionist, and she came to us because we put out a call for, losing my word, volunteers, not volunteers, but an apprentice program. So she signed up for that. She worked for us for a year at no pay, and then she got the job. So two real success stories. They're both great people, and it's just, pictures are worth 1,000 words. So, coming up on this 16th of April, we're having our 40th anniversary gala. We've never done a gala before. We've never spent the time or the money or the effort to put together a gala, but we think there's something worth celebrating this year. And it's going to be at the Rosewood. The chef is putting together a terrific menu for us. Tickets are $150 a piece. There were 2 tables that just opened up. So if anybody's interested, please go to our website. This is the first thing that you'll see on the website. It's kind of going to sparkle and shimmer. Click on that and you can buy tickets if you'd like. You might want to note Rotary, so that if there are other Rotarians, we can put you together at a table. But we're having the 3 tenors, Lady Zen, and then after dinner, they'll be dancing to the jukebox, the DJ. And I think that's it. No. Is that it? Yeah. So.
Thank you, Peter. And we have a couple of minutes for questions. If you have a question, raise your hand. And Mr. Bossman.
Peter, thank you. Wonderful presentation. I just want to mention, I don't know how long you've been in town, but this is a plug for Midday Rotary. One of our charter members was Dwayne Eriksman, I should say, okay, who put together most of the kitchens. Unfortunately, Dwayne is legally blind, so he can't come to meetings anymore, but he is a precious commodity, and one of our Citizens of the Year is one of your people that have been working in the Feed the Hungry kitchen.
Great.
So congratulations again. You have a fabulous staff and a fabulous history. Thank you so much.
And thank you. And I was appreciating your paying attention. I noticed you nodding, and so thank you for that. I also wanted to mention that we have developed. So we've added 3 kitchens this year, in the last 12 months. One of them was a huge challenge. It was out at a pueblo called Don Francisco. And it's a hard-to-get-to area. It's a really big school. It's about 350 kids, and it's down a road that you wouldn't want to drive down. And so our challenge was, how are we going to build a kitchen? Well, Rafa, what's Rafa's last name? Thank you. He decided, well, the answer is using a container, a shipping container. And so it was all fitted out off-site, and then it was hauled into the site and craned onto a pad that had been poured. Utilities got plugged in, and we were up and running. It was amazing. Another school that we added this year was Peña Blanca, another big school out near Don Francisco, also really hard to get to. He devised a system of prefab panels that could be put together very quickly on site. And we had a chance to really test that out at Las Palmas. We got word around Thanksgiving that the building that our kitchen was in was being condemned by the state. And we didn't know, so it's Mexico, how long is this going to take? Well, it could take tomorrow, or it could be a year from now. Well, we found out that it was going to be pretty darn quick. And so over the Christmas holiday, and thank goodness it was a month this year, the building was demolished, we poured a pad, we brought in a system of panels, and I was out at a ribbon cutting ceremony last week, and it was a ball. So amazing.
Stick right here, just don't go away. Two things. One, Gary Peterson, who is our Rotarian here, he's back there. He was a board president for a year? 2 years of, so Gary. And also still a very avid volunteer, as many here are as well. The food packing, my question, is it every day?
No, we pack food on Mondays, every Monday.
Okay.
And if you want to pack dry goods, it usually runs from about 9 o'clock until 10 or 10:30. We come in to pack produce about 10:30, and we're almost always out by noon.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to get a hold of you. We have another question, Kirk.
Is the food donated, or do you buy it, or is it a combination?
It's a very good question, and it's almost all purchased. We have a couple of farmers when they have a bumper crop, and it particularly seems to happen with bell peppers, which are really prized and beautiful. And so that farmer donates to us a truckload at a time of bell peppers, but most of it is purchased.
Anything online? No. No. So Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Say?
Are you looking for help in some way other than financial, or because you didn't mention that at all?
Yes. So Chip Schwab is our driver coordinator, and I may not get that cup if I make this next statement, but I'm gonna risk it. We are looking for substitute drivers. He's kind of desperate for substitute drivers, though that happens on Tuesday mornings. I'm usually back in town at my house by 9 o'clock in the morning. And you don't start until 9:30, so it could happen. And there's a lot of schools that are closer than the one that I go to. But yes, that and we're always open to having more packers. Always open. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I won't drill the hole in the bottom of the cup, but this is a coffee cup for you to thank you for
Thank you
coming
very
and
much.
speaking to our club today. And I am definitely looking forward to getting a hold of you guys for Monday mornings because I'm
Absolutely.
free on Monday.
Good.
So thank you.